The Battle of Sandepu, Russian, was a major land battle of the Russo-Japanese War. It was fought within a group of villages about 36 miles southwest of Mukden, Manchuria. Background: after the Battle of Shiho, the Russian and Japanese forces faced each other south of Mukden until the frozen Manchurian winter began. The Russians were entrenched in the city of Mukden, whereas the Japanese were occupying a 160-kilometer-long front with the Japanese 1st Army, 2nd Army, 4th Army and the Akiyama Independent Cavalry Regiment. The Japanese field commanders thought no major battle was possible and assumed that the Russians had the same view regarding the difficulty of winter combat. The Russian commander, General Alexei Kuropatkin, was receiving reinforcements via the Trans-Siberian Railway, but was concerned about the impending arrival of the battle-hardened Japanese Third Army under General Nogi Mereski to the front after the fall of Port Arthur on 2 January 1905. On Kuropatkin's staff at Mukden was General Nikolai Linovich, who had been brought over from Vladivostok to command the 1st Manchurian Army and Kuropatkin's left flank. The center was held by General Alexander Kaulbaz's 3rd Manchurian Army. The right flank was commanded by General Oskar Greifenberg, the inexperienced newly arrived commanding general of the 2nd Manchurian Army. The 2nd Manchurian Army consisted of the 8th European Army Corps, a division of the 10th, the 61st Reserve Division, the 5th Rifle Brigade, and the 1st Siberian Army Corps under General Baron Georgy Stackelberg, besides a large body of cavalry, or approximately 285,000 men and 350 guns. Greifenberg was initially pessimistic towards Kuropatkin's plans for an offensive against the Japanese left wing, which was left in an exposed northern position close to Russian territory near the small village of Heikoutai. He agreed to the plan on the condition that all three Russian armies coordinate their attack. Details of the plan were leaked by St. Petersburg to a war correspondent from the Echo de Paris, who credited the plan to Greifenberg. This news article, as well as Greifenberg's major redeployments of his forces in 14 and 16 January, signaled the Russian intentions to the Japanese. The Mishenka Raid. Kuropatkin's first move was to send General Pavel Mishenka south with 6,000 cavalry and 6 batteries of light artillery with the aim of destroying Newchang Station on the South Manchurian Railroad. The station was known to have a large stockpile of food and supplies. Mishenka was also instructed to destroy railway bridges and sections of the train track along the way. Departing on 8 January, Mishenka made unexpectedly slow progress due to inclement weather and the lack of forage and supplies along the way. By the time he reached the station on 12 January, it had been heavily reinforced by the Japanese. After failing to take the station in 3 attempts, he was forced to withdraw, returning to Mukden on 18 January. The damage made by his dragoons to the rail tracks was quickly repaired by the Japanese. The Battle of Sandepu. On 19 January, Kuropatkin issued orders for the 2nd Manchurian Army to attack in a maneuver to outflank General Oku's Japanese 2nd Army and to drive it back across the Taesu River before Nogi's 3rd Army could arrive. However, Greifenberg was not allowed to commit all of his forces. Kuropatkin limited him to 3 divisions plus the 1st East Siberian Army Corps and cavalry. The Japanese were aware of these plans, causing Oyama to reinforce his left flank. Kuropatkin afterwards blamed premature moves by Greifenberg for alerting the Japanese. On 25 January 1905, the battle began with an attack by the 1st Siberian Rifle Corps on the fortified village of Heikoutai, which the Russians took with severe losses. The Russian 14th Division, which was intended to attack the fortified village of Sandepu, failed to coordinate its attack with the 1st Siberian, and attacked on the following day, the 26th of January, instead. Hampered by a lack of maps, reconnaissance and poor weather conditions, with occasional blizzards, the Russians also attacked the wrong village, occupying the neighboring hamlet of Paotesu, which came under a strong artillery barrage and counterattack from Sandepu, which was occupied in strength by the Japanese 5th Division. Rather than come to their rescue, Greifenberg sent a false report to Kuropatkin that Sandepu had been taken, and ordered his men to rest on the 27th of January. However, the rest area assigned to Stackelberg's troops was in Japanese hands, and despite standing orders to the contrary, Stackelberg ordered his men to attack. After losing 6,000 men, Stackelberg was forced to fall back. By the morning of the 28th of January, Greifenberg found that he was separated from Kaulbars by the village of Sandepu, which prevented any attempt to link forces. However, as he still outnumbered the Japanese defenders by 7 divisions to 5 divisions, he insisted on continuing the offensive. His decision was not supported by Kuropatkin, who acted with his usual caution and hesitation, and ordered Greifenberg's forces back. Stackelberg, again ignoring orders, continued to attack, and with the help of Mishenka's cavalry, took part of Sandepu village. Simultaneously, the Russian 10th Army Corps under General Konstantin Sapitsky, with Greifenberg's consent, succeeded in securing positions to the rear of Sandepu. Despite the advantageous situation, Kuropatkin then relieved Stackelberg of his command for insubordination, and again demanded that Greifenberg withdraw. Advancing Russian soldiers, their morale high as they were on what appeared to be a successful offense for the first time since the beginning of the war, could not understand the reason. Oyama then launched a massive counter-offensive on the 29th of January 1905, and succeeded retaking Heikoutai by mid-morning. Immediately after the battle, Greifenberg resigned his commission, claiming illness, and was replaced by Kaulbars. On his return to St. Petersburg, he stopped at Harbin, where he bitterly blamed Kuropatkin for the debacle in the newspapers, declaring that he was a traitor, and claiming that Kuropatkin withheld crucial support due to jealousy at his success. He continued a harsh publicity campaign against Kuropatkin in the newspapers after his return to Russia. Stackelberg was also relieved of his command by Kuropatkin, and charged with insubordination. Results: total Russian casualties at the Battle of Sandepu were 1,781 killed, 9,395 wounded and 1,065 mere per modern Soviet sources, although other sources put a toll at over 20,000 men. Japanese casualties totaled around 9,000 with only 2,000 killed. As the battle ended in a tactical stalemate, neither side claimed victory. In Russia, the Marxists used the newspaper controversy created by Greifenberg, and by Kuropatkin's incompetence in previous battles, to drum up more support in the campaign against the government.